Red Sox fans have longed to hear it. The Boston Red Sox are world champions. Game over, series over, and the Red Sox are world champs again. And so are these fans. It hasn't happened at Fenway Park for 95 years. The Red Sox are world champions. Boston organization has been well run for a long time now. From the top on down, here comes a 1-2 pitch. Red Sox win the World Series. 5-1 the final tonight. And the best team in baseball wins it all in 2018.
The Red Sox have won the World Championship. The Boston Red Sox beat the Los Angeles Dodgers 5-1. They win the World Series 4-1. And the Red Sox become the first team in the 21st century with 4 World Championships. Can you believe it?
Welcome to another episode of the Pesky Podcast. This is a bonus episode. I know most of you guys are probably still got your eyes glued on the game because it's the bottom of the ninth. Kenley Jansen is on the mound, and it's a 4-3 game against the Oakland Athletics. But, hey, we are here with a great turn of events here, great group of people, and we're going to be doing some mid-season awards to go right into the All-Star break. I'm going to introduce everybody real quick. We've got our head writer. We got Mr. George Sutherland. We have got Jeff Brown from Off the Mazda podcast. We've got Anna, who hosts her own space weekly on Twitter. We've got my co-host, DC. And then we've got 2/3 of the Pesky Party Girls. We've got Christina, and we've got Red Sox lover. So, guys, what's been going on? How's your day so far? Kenley Jansen just closed out the game. Red Sox win 4-3. So let's start with DC real quick. What's been going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. On daddy duty. My wife's working all weekend, but just watching baseball with the kids and, just enjoying the sweep we just saw.
Oh, exactly. How sweep it is. Man, it seems like every time we do a podcast, we just get done sweeping somebody recently. Toronto, the A's. So let's go over to Jeff. What's been going on with you? How you doing? Jeff, you're on mute, buddy. There we go.
You'd think after being on Teams meetings for like 3 years now. But anyways, yeah, it's been a fun summer so far. The Red Sox, I think, are finally coming out of that roller coaster ride that we've seen all season, the ups and downs. And this team is starting to gel, which is scary. All we get now is to wait on the pitching. But I didn't have optimism going into this game, but they ended up pulling it out of their hindsight.
Yeah. Let's head over to Christina. How's it been going with you?
Going good. Just been here off for summer break, so that's been great. I'm just traveling with my husband and watching baseball. Loving the last few games that we've been having. Hopefully, like you said, this team will turn around. Hopefully, pitching come through. We get some players back that have been hurt, and hopefully we're on the right track. I'm liking what I'm seeing now. I was a little sad there, but last few games have been better.
Anna, let's head on to you. How are you been? How you been doing?
Good. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here with a bunch of Red Sox fans. I'm a Twins fan by nature, but I would have rather been watching your game today because mine is awful. So just trying not to jump off a ledge and find a new team to support. But hey, I guess I have a good one if I decide to do so, right?
Hey,
yes.
Right.
You can always join the Pesky Party Girls.
So, George, what's going on with you? How you been doing?
Good.
Hey.
So no, we've been doing good. Finally got a few days without steady rain up here in southern Maine. So a little cloudy today, but I'll take it rather than the monsoons we've been having of late.
Yeah. And last but not least, Liz, how are you doing?
Hey guys. I'm doing great. I'm from Georgia, but I'm actually in Tennessee enjoying the mountain. But I had to make sure there was Wi-Fi here so I can watch the game. And I've been just having a heart attack, just emotions running through my body throughout the whole day. But how sweet it is, so it can't go any better. The weekend just ended with a big bang. So I'm extremely happy.
I'm envious. Cabins in Tennessee, Smoky Mountains. It looks fantastic.
Yes. Oh my God, it's beautiful out here. I want to stay here.
Yeah. So, guys, we've been doing really well recently. We sit there and we swept Toronto. We only lost one for the Rangers. Then we went and swept the A's. Everybody's pushing for the trade deadline. What are we going to do? But if you look on paper, what we are potentially getting back around the trade deadline looks really good. Tanner Houck, Whitlock. We got Chris Sale potentially coming back. Trevor Story, Reyes. We're getting pieces that we need, and we have pieces we can move too. So there's a couple pieces that I'd be willing to shop and trade away really quick and easy that at the beginning of the season might not have been that way. But we are here for the award ceremony for the midseason Red Sox. And the first award we're going to be handing out today will be the 10th Man Award. The 10th man is to me, seems to be somebody that you could bring off the bench at any point. He can do really well and play in your starting lineup. He can sit there. He's consistent for you. So we're going to be going around, and we're going to start with George. Who is your vote for the 10th Man Award?
Well, he's a starter, but this team would be really nowhere without him right now, and that would be Verdugo. Not everybody in the beginning of the season was laughed at him when he wanted an extension. He's come out and shown everybody, yeah, I belong here. So, yeah, he's my man, Doogie.
Hey, I personally sit there and threw something out there. Verdugo puts the V in MVP.
Yep.
So I can sit there and I can definitely agree with that. Jeff, let's go over to you. Who is your 10th man award going to?
Yeah, I've looked forward to the 10th player award since I've been watching the Red Sox on Channel 38 for those
Yep.
who live in the Boston area. Listen to Jerry Remy give it out, or Don Arcillo, but it's usually a guy who's not an extreme all-star, but this, to me, it is. It's Brian Bayo. I don't think this team is where, you could say Verdugo, I'd be on that train too. But the one current outside of Paxton is Bayo, and he is the superstar of that lineup rotation.
Yeah, I love me Bayo. Bayo, we heard in spring training that Pedro kind of took him under his wing, and now we're actually seeing the fruits of his labor of Pedro putting him under the wing.
Yeah, I got chills when I saw that video when they were together, training together.
Oh, man, absolute greatness there. Christina, 10th Man Award.
I've got Bayo also. I was torn between the two, but I would say Brian Bayo, because without him right now, a lot of those games that we've been starting to win, they wouldn't have happened without him in our rotation, especially when everybody else went down and he was pretty much our only starter. I felt like it all laid on his shoulders, and for being very young, he came out and did what he had to do. That's a lot to ask for a player very young and, hasn't played that long. And so I say Bayo.
Okay. DC? you're up next. Who are you going to be
There we go.
picking for your 10th man award?
So I kind of took it literally. You know, I kind of think of it like the 6th man award in basketball. I think a guy that his stats aren't really there, but he did miss a bunch of games this year is Christian Arroyo. I think he just comes in, professional hitter, comes up with good hits. Not necessarily, maybe not a home run, but he'll get on base, set the table, you know, in the late innings. I mean, look at today, he knocked in that tying run, you know, timely hit. So I'm going to go with Christian Arroyo.
Okay, you can't go wrong. They at the beginning of the season, they were kind of asking a lot from him to be the everyday second baseman. And, you know, he put the pressure on his shoulders and, you know, he just got hurt. So, Anna, we're gonna go over to you.
Yeah, I'm a little bit biased in a sense, and I took this a little different direction than everybody else did. But I picked Rob Refsnyder. I think, you know, pinch running, pinch hitting, he kind of fills in places where he's needed. So to me, you know, I took it pretty literally from that perspective. So to me, and I wanted to spread the love on some of the other awards and not pick the same people repeatedly. So that's my vote.
Okay, hey, and you can't go wrong. Like, anytime there's a lefty pitcher, you know, they plug him in, and he's able to hit the ball. His defense is really, you know, really well out there in the outfield too. So he's kind of that complete player coming off the bench that you can sit there and count on during the game, during a series when you need him. Liz, you're up next. 10th man award.
I was really stuck on this one. I was also going to what Anna was saying, just literally like a 10th person. But I definitely do want to go with Bello. Just like Christina said, he is so young, and to have all of that just put on his shoulder and the way that he has delivered and just developed throughout, I mean, he's just an ace. And every time he's there, I'm confident that he is going to win, that we're going to win. So to me, Bello's going to win a lot of awards from me, but he definitely deserves that one.
Oh, see, can't go wrong with him. I kind of went a little bit different path. And Anna, it's kind of funny. I was tossed up between Refsnyder and the guy that I chose. I chose Martin because to me, that's the man right there that the 8th, he was set up Kenley for you. And just like today, you don't have to worry about too much pressure because 9 times out of 10, Martin's going to sit there and get the job done for you. And without that setup man, it's going to put a lot more pressure on Kenley. Like a couple weeks ago when Alex Cora went and asked for Kenley to come in for 4 outs. That was a lot to ask for him, you know. But with Martin there, I sit there and have him for my 10th man award because he's the gatekeeper to Kenley. So, you guys, any surprises that somebody picked overall?
Mm-mm.
No? So, okay. Let's sit there in between awards. Let's talk about some of your favorite moments from this season. Let's start with Liz. Name a great moment in the first half of the season that happened that was just like, you know, you sit there and seeing the Red Sox and you know, like, that's my team.
Oh my God. Just recently when Bello did 7 innings, and that was just great. I mean, to me, I'm very, you know, I was all for Bello, and I know he's young, and at first he started really, you know, just 1 inning here, 2 innings, but for him to do 7 innings and no hitter, and to me, I was like, oh man, my team is definitely developing. We're definitely going there. We can win the other half. You know, it's just a matter of just tweaking stuff. But that was by hands down the best moment that I've seen so far. And I love it. And I love repeating it and watching on YouTube because that's just his face. Just happiness there.
Man, it was a couple. It wasn't that game. It was a couple before that when, you know, he went and struck out the batter with the changeup, and he had that face and pump, like, you know, walking off the mound. It's like, man, I'm so glad the first time since, I gotta say, like Lester, that, you know, and we developed a starting pitcher that on this caliber. So Jeff, let's shoot up to you. What moment comes to mind for you?
I really want to go with a lot of moments with Duran lately, but for me, it's Kenley getting his 400th save. We don't have a lot of big moments in history lately, especially, and I don't think it was at Fenway Park where it happened, but him getting his 400th save and realizing who Kenley Jansen was. I truly didn't follow his career up to the Red Sox. I knew of his accolades with the Dodgers and his time, starting as a catcher. But, listening to his family talk about him and everything like that, it was heartwarming to listen to his story and how happy he was and how happy he is with his team.
Yeah, Kenley, that save he had was amazing, and I know how much it actually meant to him overall. And you can sit there and see it, to him how much it meant to him also. DC, I think I know what you're going to sit there and choose for yours. If not, I might have to bring it up.
I'm kind of curious now. Sorry, my baby is banging off her tray. Actually, I was going to say what Jeff just said. I thought the 400 save was pretty cool moment. I watched that little video the Red Sox put together on their social media about all the former players that he's played with, giving them those special messages to him. But if I had to choose one, probably recently, the game against Eovaldi. I think that was a game where we put that crooked number up in the 5th or 6th inning. It was just cool to see them come alive, especially one of the best teams in baseball at the moment. So if it wasn't Kenley, I'd probably say, that game against Eovaldi and how they kind of responded. But what were you thinking?
I was thinking of that tweet. That we're walking it off.
I forgot about that.
And Adam Duvall, I'm going really early, and Adam Duvall took that thing to the moon and back. I thought for sure, because you called it, you're like, we're walking it off. We're walking it off. So that's the moment I thought you were going to go for. George, what about you?
To be honest with you, man, I kind of forgot about that.
Oh, man.
For me, it was James Paxton on his first start, going out there looking like he never skipped a beat. And, for all the talk in the offseason, was he ever going to make it on the field or whatever? You looked at it and you said, oh, if this is what we're getting, we're in really good shape. So that for me was the highlight, the forgotten man, James who. So
Anna, let's head over to you.
So, seeing the 400 save was pretty cool. Obviously, I don't watch nearly as many Red Sox games as any of y'all do, but I did catch the Twins and the Red Sox in spring training. I'm going to take it all the way back there. I saw Chris Sale make a start there, and I thought, oh, crap, we're in trouble. Like, he looks like he's still for real. And I know he's been hurt and, that's disappointing, but he put up some decent numbers before that. And I think he has stuff left in the tank. So I think that makes the team dangerous with him coming back. But just to see him look what he looked like, years ago was pretty darn cool.
Anna, I love how you keep it professional, because I thought you were going to throw out there, hey, I love seeing Christian Vasquez hit his first home run of the season against you guys. So I'm glad you kept it professional. So I appreciate that. Christina.
Well, mine's going back to when Yoshi had the 2 home runs in 1 inning. The grand slam and the home run. That's my Yoshida. That's my guy, my little pequeñito. I just love me some Yoshi, which y'all know already. Masa. So that one game where he had 2 home runs in 1 inning, I guess it was against the Brewers, and one was a grand slam, and it was the 8th inning. Oh, I know that was amazing for me. It was perfect for me.
Masa, I love how Masa was slumping there for a little bit, and everybody started dogging him. It's like, dude, let that man go. Now me, I can't think of any moments, just one moment, but I'm going to have to say anytime my man Verdugo walks off a home run, throws out Bichette at home plate in Toronto, like anytime with Verdugo ending the game, those are got to be my moments, 100%. So let's go on to our next award. Let's go to the Come Out of Nowhere award. This award here is like someone you wouldn't really expect doing what they're doing. And man, okay, we're not taking calls in, but you guys know my man Taylor. So he just sit there and he said his moment was, and we can say it on here, please be fucking fair with Alex Verdugo. So he just texted that to me. So shout out to him. But the Come Out of Nowhere award. So let's start with you, Liz. Who and you're on mute.
Come out of nowhere. I want to say, as bad as it sounds, I want to say Duran. I think ever since last year when he had the whole fumble with the ball and he missed it, I was like, oh Jesus, okay, we need to just get rid of him. I mean, he has surprised me so much, and for him to come out the way he has played, I was blindsided by that. I mean, I know he was gonna maybe get better, but how he is, that just really did come out of nowhere. So I think he deserves that.
Great pick. I'm just gonna sit there and say right now mine. That was the same thing, Jarren Duran. That was my come out of nowhere pick. It's like for him to be doing what he's doing at the level he's doing, and it's one thing in baseball when you're doing really well and then you slump, and then all of a sudden when you're slumping, it kind of affects your mindset. But for Jarren to then pick it back up, adjust what he's doing, and get back on this hot streak, that's what a Major League Baseball player is. That's what the Boston Red Sox need. And he's become our leadoff man. So, Liz, I'm right with you. Jarren Duran is my come out of nowhere award. Anna, it's on you now. You're up.
So I picked the same. Duran, and I mean, just if you compare his stats, like from the previous 2 seasons, although he played less games, but like his batting average now before the game today at 319 compared to 215 and 221, like I mean, I just think that's unexpected. Again, obviously don't watch him as much as you guys do. And so, but I think he's killing it, and it's great to see. You always cheer for someone like that to, like, you know, do better. And his, you know, like lifetime batting average is raised significantly with this year alone. So I hope he keeps it up.
Yeah. I've got to admit, early on in the season, I was baffled by him. I kind of questioned him for, you know, instead of going to spring training, he went to the WBC to not play. And Alex Correa sits there and tells him, just go out and have fun. He worked with Pedroia a little bit on, you know, his swing. And now we're seeing the final product of a man that's playing in the majors having fun. So Christina, you're all up.
Okay, mine is different. Mine is Chris Martin, just because I'll be honest, I did not know, I didn't follow him before. And so to me, when he comes out of the bullpen, I feel fine. Like there's certain other ones when they come out of the bullpen, I'm like, no. But when Martin comes out, I'm like, okay, he's going to do what he needs to do, like you said, to get it to Jensen, or he's going to close it out himself. But I have faith and trust him. So to me, he came out of nowhere because I didn't know much about him, for me personally. So now, my husband teases me because I always want to say, because this is just a Hispanic in me, his last name is Martin, and I always say Martin, and my husband goes, he's not Mexican, babe, it's not Martin, it's Martin. Because I always want to yell, come on, Martin. It's like, it's Martin. But yeah, to me, he came out of nowhere, and I'm impressed with him, and I have confidence when he comes out of the bullpen. And just like last night too, when he came out, he just needed one pitch or whatever the other night and got, or not last, but the other night, and, got a double play ball. And then today he came out and set it up for Jensen. And so I just like Martin. So to me, he came out of nowhere and he's doing what he needs to do and he's doing his job.
Yeah. You picked him for the Come Out of Nowhere award, pretty much the same reasons why I picked him for the 10th Man award. So, DC, you're up, my man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to jump on the train of Duran. I think after, like Anna said, the last year was pretty abysmal, man. He struggled very mightily, hitting 319 going in today, 27 doubles. His OPS is what surprised me the most, 885, which is insane, especially because he only has 5 home runs. So he's knocking in doubles left and right. How many games now has he had multi-hits? He had that 5 for 5. He's getting consistently 2 to 3 hits a game, which is unreal. And I know I kind of crapped on him pretty hard in spring training. I agree with you. I think he should have spent more time with the team instead of going to WBC where he wasn't going to play. But obviously something clicked, and obviously he knows better than I do. But yeah, I think he came out of nowhere, man. And he's 17 out of 18 stolen bases. That's something that we don't really ever have on the Sox. And it's good to have that speed because that sets the table. Anything can happen if you get that guy in base.
Yeah, man, I want to sit there and say last time we had speed like that would have to be Ellsbury, out there. Jackie Bradley was fast, but he's nowhere near as fast as Duran is. So Jeff,
and Jackie Bradley
you're up.
Jr.'s OP. Sorry, bud.
No.
If you want to finish up,
you could definitely finish that Jackie Bradley comment.
Obviously his defense was amazing, but he just never got on base. Got a consistent clip to, get stolen bases. But sorry, Jeff, my bad, man.
No. Going into this year, we looked at the rotation, and I don't think any of us could have foresaw the train wreck that would have happened to this rotation. And any team can go through this up and down, but when Cutter Crawford first came into the rotation, I had no faith in what he was going to do. I took, an inning 2 here, but he has really saved this rotation countless times through the rotation. And not only that, his confidence to me has gone through the roof. He looks like a pure starter now. He looks like a number 3 or 4 guy that I would trust going out there every 5th day. So going into the season, I don't think any of us could have foreseen Cutter Crawford as one of our starters. Maybe a number 5 at some point, but I did not foresee it going into the season. And for that, he's my come out of nowhere guy.
Hey, great pick. I know on one of our podcasts, I threw out there, I thought Cutter Crawford was going to have the most wins on the Red Sox. I don't see that happening now, but just to see him solidify himself in the starting rotation right now is pretty good for me. George, you're up.
As impressed as I am with what Jarren Duran has done, particularly of late, I also went with somebody on the pitching staff, which was Winkowski. He has become one of the most reliable mid guys in that bullpen. You saw it the other night. Comes in with runners on base, stops the bleeding. All right. And if you look at where he was last year, it was like, okay, they kept tossing him out there. We're going to do this. He's become a very reliable option out of the bullpen. And I got to be honest with you, I didn't see that. So that's, to me, he's definitely shown that. So he's my vote.
Yeah. And we're going back to spring training and thinking about bullpen people. Winkowski never would have crossed my mind ever, but he's become one of the most consistent people in our bullpen now. So, but no, anybody, surprised by anybody's picks at all overall, or, I love the diversity. I love how everybody's kind of going different directions. A couple of us, went with Duran, but let's go next up on the award. The Unsung Hero Award so far. So Unsung Hero is someone I would sit there and see that consistently, is able to step it up at will. So let's start with Jeff on this one. Jeff, who's your unsung hero?
Yeah, I'll keep mine short, just for the exact reasons Christina pointed out. Martin is my unsung hero. We have not had an 8-9 setup, or an a guy in the 8 hole for a setup in quite a long time. And when we do, you see teams go far into the playoffs when you have the back end of the bullpen set up. And we have the back end of the bullpen set up now. I don't lose any sleep coming out of the 7th inning with the lead now. I know I don't know where Chris Martin's been all my life. I mean, the guy's 37 years old, and he's a stud reliever. Chris Martin is my unsung hero.
Well, I'm going to sit there and let DC come in after this one, because as soon as we signed him, DC was big on Martin. So DC, who's your unsung hero? And you want to throw a little Martin praise out there? You go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I'll start off with Martin just because, I mean, obviously it's a good segue. I was really excited about him. He doesn't walk guys. He comes in, he's consistent, he gets batters out, and he has great command. As you see, like you guys have said, I'm not worried, especially in the 8th and 9th inning. We have a lead. I'm pretty confident, it should turn out pretty well. We haven't had that a lot, in the last 3 years in the back end of the bullpen. So it's refreshing to see. So love the Martin signing. I think I even said on the podcast, that's one of my favorite signings of the whole offseason. If I had to go unsung hero, I'm going to go with my man, Justin Turner. I think he comes up with clutch hits, timely hits, all the time. He's hitting 288. His OPS is 821, which is phenomenal for a 38-year-old. And I just think they really rallied around him after he got hit in the face in spring training. I've heard it on the NESN broadcast time and time again how much of a leader he is in that clubhouse, and that's exactly what we need at this time, especially with all the turmoil. 1 week we're doing awesome, the next week we're kind of just crap in the bed. And hold on, Ani. But I'm gonna go Justin Turner.
Hey, DC, she was just trying to give her, unsung hero award also. I swore I heard her say throw some dirt on it, Justin Turner.
She's saying something over there. I don't know if that's what it is.
But no, DC, great minds think alike. I'm going to throw mine out there right now, and mine was also Justin Turner. His numbers this year are parallel to his career numbers, and like you said, at his age, it just shows how consistent this man is. We joked about it. George, throw some dirt on it, way back in the day, and it's been sticking ever since. So JT is definitely my pick for the unsung hero. So let's go to Liz. Who is yours?
I'm definitely with you guys also, JT. I mean, just because of his age, everybody would say, man, old man coming up at bat, but old man can definitely be consistent at his swing. He has been just hitting. And to me, after getting hit, and just coming back, and I feel comfortable when he's there and I feel confident. So at his age, he definitely deserves the unsung hero award. Most definitely.
Definitely. Let's go over to Anna. She seems like she's chomping at the bit here.
Well, I went a totally different direction than you guys did, but for a lot of reasons that you listed prior for, 10th man and stuff, I went Bello. I think as, slated as a number 5, like, you don't really necessarily always expect a ton, but he's definitely, brought it. 3.4 ERA or 3.04 ERA, which whatever, but he's pitched 80 innings. He's definitely striking out more people than he's walking by far. I just think, that's just not necessarily what you expect from your number 5. Like, he's kind of saved somewhat a rotation that's had major issues and injuries and that kind of stuff and really stepped up. So he's my pick for unsung hero.
Great point that you sit there and made. Like, if it wasn't for, Bayo, and his record doesn't speak to what his performance has been. He's gone out there several occasions and just no run support whatsoever. So, Christina. Who do you got?
I actually have Verdugo only because so many people trashed him, and I'm still mad that he's not on the All-Star team. So he's my unsung hero because to me, he deserves to be on the All-Star team. I know was a little bit in a slump the last, few games and stuff, but the last few weeks and stuff. But to me, he's just stepped it up. When he was lead off, he did his job there. He has done his job in the outfield, and so he was my unsung hero. But like I said, a lot of it had to do with I was mad. I was salty that he did not make the All-Star team, and to me, he doesn't get a lot of the credit that he deserves. And like when Cora benched him that one game and for not hustling, and I was like, I get it, but there's other players in the team who do a lot of other stuff that I don't know. To me, I like Verdugo, and to me, he's the unsung hero, and he doesn't get all the credit he deserves when he should. So that's who my unsung hero is.
Hey, anytime somebody wants to support Verdugo, I'll sit there and stand right there right with him. So, George, unsung hero.
I'm on the Chris Martin train. He makes Kenley's job a lot easier and makes Kenley more effective. And in the case of a doubleheader was, as it had happened recently, use Kenley one game. He can come in and do the close job, every once in a while and do it effectively. A quality setup man is an important feature on any winning ball club. Fortunately, we have one.
Hey, great pick with Chris Martin. So, I kind of love the different ways and different avenues we actually looked at that award and how we handed them out. Before we get to the Debbie Downer of the episode, let's sit there and talk. Okay, we're gonna throw it out there. You got 3 people. You can only extend one. Who's it gonna be? Bayo, Duran, or Verdugo? Okay, George, we're gonna start with you.
Bayo, the kid is special. We started calling him Pedro Jr. Yeah, the kid is special. And every time out, he just keeps getting better and better. He's your ace of the future. Lock him up now.
Jeff?
Yeah, I want to lean towards Duran just because he's a hitter. But pitchers are in short supply, especially in our farm system. So I'm going to say Bayo also. He's got the stuff that you can't duplicate what he has.
Christina?
Bayo, because like I said, as much as I love Verdugo and I love Duran, pitching we've always lacked it. And I would not want to see him go now that he's doing what he's doing, because I do think he's our future. And so, yeah, you've got to keep him.
DC?
Bayo, 100%. I think with his age and how well he's performed so far this year, and like Dave touched on, we haven't been the greatest with developing pitchers. So I don't think you can let this one slip between your fingers. I think you got to lock him up immediately. Obviously, the other 2 are doing awesome. Duran's on fire. And it's I love Verdugo. Obviously, I've changed my mind on him, but definitely Bayo. You have to. The pitching is just too important.
Anna?
Bayo, but because I just think pitching as a whole is harder to find, I'm not even thinking like team wise, just overall. If you get a good one and you can, get them to stay and they're happy with you, you got to do it. I think it's a no brainer. I think that, the other 2 players are special, but pitchers like that are few and far between. And so definitely it's a no brainer.
And Liz?
Well, again, all 3 of them are great, but pitching, that's just where we're at right now. And Bayo, we just need to, like DC said, we need to lock him up. We can't let him get away. We've been struggling with pitching, but just how he has come in from just all the way up to 7 innings. I can't stress that enough. We just need to keep him. That's it.
Okay. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to follow suit with you guys. we got a lot of outfielders in our farm system that can, we still got Massa out there. So I would have to lock up Bayo also, as much as it hurts me to sit there and turn down the other two. So Unsung Hero Award is over. Now it's time for this could have been named the Clown Award, the Biggest Disappointment Award. It could have been named a few different things. But bam, the biggest disappointment so far on the Red Sox so far this year. And we're gonna start with Liz, because I'm thinking she's got some comedy relief there.
Listen, I think it should just be like a group where we just all say the name, because Hernandez, Kike, I'm sorry. Kike, do you love me? Everybody loved him. He had a great time. But let's talk about all the errors he's had. Let's talk about how he said he was fine with playing shortstop. I mean,
the resume.
The resume. I mean, the reporter, he was right. He doesn't have the resume for it. We've seen it so many times. And the fact that he is still putting at shortstop almost 9 out of 10 times is just mind-blowing to me, because he does not deserve to be there at all. At all. So, Kike, you're the Clown Award. I'm sorry. That has to go to you.
Okay, we're going to sit there and take a quick break as I bring in another panel guest, Mr. Pete Collins.
Hey, how you doing, everyone?
How you doing, Pete?
Doing well.
You came in just in time for the Biggest Disappointment Award. I'm pretty sure everybody, but I think I might be the outcast here for not picking the same person. Let's just go really quick around. Is there anybody else not pick Kike for the Biggest Disappointment Award besides myself? Okay, Anna, Christina. Okay, so Jeff, George, and DC all got Kike. Christina, who do you have?
Okay, I was torn between Kike, but who I went with was Kluber, because we paid him what we paid him. He went from opening day starter to bullpen to phantom injury. To me, that's the biggest disappointment. Kike he wasn't even supposed to be shortstop. Story got hurt, had to have the surgery in the offseason. They threw him in there. Yes, he's horrible. He has so many errors. You should see how many times I yell at my TV, Enrique, because when you do bad, you get your full name in my house. So yeah, there's a lot of Enrique. But the biggest disappointment because I was torn between those two. And I was like, Kike's been a horrible, but Kluber, because he was the opening day starter. He was supposed to come in here, and we've been struggling with pitching for so long. And he was supposed to be in here, 10 million, get this. And he went from opening day starter to bullpen to phantom injury. To me, he's the biggest disappointment, because I think they expected more of him. I expected more of him, Cy Young pitcher coming in. I was not expecting that to happen. And then, of course, Sell gets hurt. And now you've got this pitcher, Kluber, who can't do his job. And so now it's all resting on Bayo and Paxton. And I don't know, to me, he's the biggest disappointment as far as signing-wise, money-wise, and stuff like that. So that's who I picked. I was torn between him and Kike, but I was like, no, Kluber, because that's the sign we made over the offseason. That was supposed to be the one that was supposed to come in and do something for us. And to me, we've got to eat $10 million now. What else can we do? There's nothing else we can do. We got to eat it.
Yeah. Pete, who did you have?
I was torn between the same two. I think we probably all were, but I went Kluber as well. And I think the deciding factors for me, or what pushed me over the edge, was that Kike's playing out of position, and he's a good center fielder. He is clutch in the playoffs. He plays a good outfield, and taking a center fielder, throw Duran at shortstop and see him make a bunch of errors. Throw another outfielder at shortstop and see him make a bunch of errors. And then to start saying that he's the biggest disappointment because he's playing out of position, making errors, I couldn't do it to him. Kluber is a starting pitcher, a good one at that, or was a good one at that, and has been horrific. He's your number one starter over Sale. and then comes in and throws up this ERA and this performance. And as you mentioned, the money, I never really think about the money because there's just so much of it and they should be willing to spend. But yeah, what a waste, right? Actual real dollars. What a waste on him. And you're just hoping maybe he comes back and can be like eligible for your bullpen. That's where you're at with your opening day starter for the Boston Red Sox. It just blows my mind thinking back to like, you know, when I was a kid watching them, your opening day starters hoping to make the bullpen is kind of wild right now. I mean, he was the opening day starter too, I think, because they just told him he would be. And then Chris Sale is your better pitcher at the time. Chris Sale's a major leaguer. He knew, what have I done to earn the opening day nod? Nothing. So go ahead, throw me out there second. I deserve it. You know, kind of reminds me of an old school type mentality towards baseball Chris Sale has. But yeah, Kluber's my biggest disappointment.
Yeah. Anna, what about you?
Same. And actually, for basically the same reasons that Pete said, Kike can't, I feel bad for him. Like, he's literally being asked to do something that he's not used to doing. And my team has done that a ton, and it usually never works out for the good. You know, the plays that you should make once you miss them. I can see the screaming at the TV. I couldn't take it. Kluber, to me, when you pay somebody that much money, you're expecting more. And I mean, I think that was a risky contract as it was, like, to pay him that much, because he just hasn't been as good recently, and it definitely didn't work out. And to me, it's him by far.
I was different from all you guys. My biggest disappointment for the Red Sox this season is AC, for the reason of putting Kike at shortstop, for the reason to let him continue to play shortstop. Heim went out and signed Chang. Heim went out and signed Reyes. Not the best options, but they were better options than Kike. He made a statement post-game that Kike was no longer going to play shortstop, and he continues to put him there. Like, when is enough where AC is going to sit there and say, Kike, you're not playing shortstop. You're now going to be our floating outfielder, you know, when needed. Because there's no point of putting that man there anymore. Like, how many games did Kike cost us playing out of position? At least I'm going to say 5. Put us 5 games. We got the wild card spot then. You know, 5 more wins in the win column. AC, you got to sit there and start playing the best people at the best positions available. You can't, friendships out the window, contracts out the window. The best people got to play the best positions. So that was mine. I was going to say Kike, but AC is just, to me, is a bigger disappointment for letting that man stay there as long as he had, and continues to put him there to this day. So, guys, have any comments about the biggest disappointment?
I mean, It's kind of hard to blame AC for putting him at shortstop. Who do you want to see all year? And where does Kike go if he's not playing? You know what I mean? They have a log jam. You were saying a floating outfielder. They already have too many outfielders with Duran pushing everyone out of the way. I mean, it's kind of hard, I think, to blame Alex Cora. When you're given the groceries, you got to kind of cook with what you're given. You know,
Kike could have played second base when Arroyo was out. He plays a better second base than he does a shortstop.
Yeah,
I think he's a good second baseman.
But he still tries to do too much. I mean, you saw that yesterday. It's like, he got the ball and he should have ate it, but he still wants to try to make the great play so he can get some, he can get on a highlight reel. I mean, for me, Kike was number 1, but 1A was certainly Corey Kluber. So,
yeah, I could spend the next hour talking about what I don't understand about AC, Alex Cora. The lineup changes just boggle my mind. You never see a championship team not have a continuous lineup that who your 1 through 5 guys are in the lineup. I can't count on one hand how many times I've seen the same lineup in just a series, 3 games in a row, the same exact lineup. It doesn't happen. And that's because Cora is he believes too much into the stats that lefty on lefty, it's a real thing. No, it's not. You got guys out there who can hit lefties all the time. And when you put Kike in there for Duran, who's 24 years old, and I don't want to hear anybody say, well, he needed a day off. No, he doesn't. Not at 24.
God, I wish I was 24.
I never needed a day off at 24. I'd be up for 40 hours straight. I didn't need a day off. How are you going to give this kid confidence if you're constantly sitting him in Casas against lefties and you're putting in a guy who can barely hit his weight? It doesn't make any sense. This guy, and the problem is with Cora, he's going to get unchecked because this team is going to get better. And people are going to say, oh, well, Cora, man, Cora stuck with these guys. Cora did the right thing. I would say Cora lost this team more games than Kike Hernandez this year by far. And not even getting into the bullpen decisions he's made this year.
I will agree that not just Cora, but baseball itself now with all the analytics, how everybody that's, and I get it because, that's what it sounds. But it's like you said, sometimes it's just the player themselves, but a lot of stats and analytics, and that's what they're going by and stuff. And sometimes I just want that old school manager where they just know that, this guy's out there and going to give off. Like, to me, I think Duran has just something to prove because of how he played last year. And I'm sure in the off season, he was very hard on himself, like his own self, like not happy with his performance. And I'm sure, to me, I see a lot of heart in him this year. Like he's trying to prove what he did wrong last year and he's trying to make up for all that. And he's going out there. So I agree. Give him a shot against a left-handed pitcher because I think he might prove you wrong because he's playing with so much more this year. But like you said, it's so much analytics and stats this year and the lefty and righty and who does good against this pitcher and who, so it is. And it is different because like you said, I've watched baseball all my life and growing up, it was pretty much always the same lineup. You knew, like you said, the first 5 or 6 batters, then maybe they put someone into pitch hit, but you pretty much always knew your main starters. That was all. And you're right. There's some days I look at the lineup and I'm like, oh, okay, Yoshi's out today. Oh, okay, now he's DHing. And so it's not, and okay, Duvall's in, Duran's not in today. Why? Duran just had a wonderful, and so I'm like, I'm questioning it. And I'm like, but of course, it's easy for me to question it because I'm just the fan at home. But I get what you're saying because, I grew up, like I said, watching this 48 years. I've watched this game and all my life. And it's just like, like you said, you always knew who your players were going to be. You always knew these were your starters. They were going to play. This was your DH. This was your cleanup batter. Oh, number 4. Like you knew this. And now it constantly changes. And so sometimes I am like, why are we changing it again? Like if it ain't broke, why fix, So, but I know it's because now they're into all this analytics and stats, and that's what they go and they look at all these papers and these, numbers and who does this. But sometimes I just wish that you could push a little bit of that aside and just go with what you just think is right. But
at the end of the day, it's human beings. If you got a guy who's went 7 for his last 8,
he's playing with heart. Yeah, he's hot right now. He's playing with heart.
That trumps analytics every single day.
Right, and a guy like I'm sorry, Ritt.
Oh, no, go ahead, George.
A guy like Duran, I mean, look, he was embarrassed at the beginning of the season with them selecting Tapia. Okay, Tapia embarrassed him last year. Okay, he goes back to the minors. He starts figuring out a little bit more, and since he's come back, he is playing like a man possessed. So Corey isn't even playing the hot hand. I mean, it's like, somebody's hot and all of a sudden, he's on the bench. What? It's not even that. I mean, he's trying. I think he's trying to be the ultimate player's manager, not get anybody upset. Hey, be a big boy. Skip tells you to sit down, you sit down.
I have a thought on that. I was just thinking though, like it is July, right? You start playing people in weird times because you want to put tape out there. You hope they raise their batting average so you can trade them, especially if you think you might be moving someone. So you're playing Duvall, you might want to move Duvall. You know what I mean? You're putting some people out there maybe when you don't necessarily think it's the best move as the manager because you're looking to trade them. So
I know that's why they put Duvall in the lineup today because he's trying to get so they could see
They say it's a rest for Duran, but it's really we want to showcase.
Exactly.
We can't say that though. That looks horrible. So you can't say that. So you say you're wrestling him, and we all get on him for wrestling him when it's just what I can't say. Sorry, I wish I could talk to him offline and be like, what is it really though? And he's like, oh, I'm trying to trade Duval. I got to put him out there.
Yeah, he had to showcase him a little.
So, okay, guys, we're gonna go to the next award, the biggest surprise award. This is somebody that has that shock value of how well they're doing when we never thought they would be anywhere near this. So, Liz, you were really quiet for the whole Kike, AC, Kluber deal. So we're gonna start with you. Who was your biggest surprise award going to?
Again, my biggest surprise will be going to Duran. And just like I posted on Twitter, everybody who hated on him, they need to fill out that apologize form because he needs a lot of apologies to him. And I mean, look at where he's at. And just like Jeff was saying, they're already having 2 days off because of the All-Star. Why did you bench him? Why did you sit him? I mean, they do not need to be resting. He hit home runs yesterday. So for him to just be out of the lineup, to me, it's just crazy. Let him do what he can do. Taking him off does not make him a better player. Taking him off does not build up, for him being clowned at the beginning of the year last year. So he deserves that award. He has been the biggest surprise for me this whole season. And I just hope he gets better.
I love how we were down and then tied the game. And then they wanted to bring Duran in today. And look what happened. So, Jeff, who was your biggest surprise?
I wish I could play This Is Iron Man in the background because, my biggest surprise is Tanner Houck. I saw him as the end of a rotation guy coming into this year, but I also saw him for the last couple of years. He always has looked to me as a right-handed Chris Sale. He's got the stuff. He just hadn't put it together yet, but his confidence has been slowly increasing. I just hope this injury that he just took in anybody's been hit in the face, it does, especially as a batter, which thank God he's not a batter, does take some time to get back in that batter's box. But I just hope he's not going to be a little skittish on the mound going forward. But I don't see how you can't be. But his confidence has gone through the roof this year. I think having, as much as we clown on Kluber and Sale for being Mr. Glass, there's still two great guys for guys like Tanner Houck and Brian Bayo to pick the minds of. And I truly believe those two guys are being mentored by both of the Kluber and Sale this year. At least I hope so. I can't foresee why it wouldn't be happening. But I think Tanner Houck's just going to get better. I think if we had went to what top 5 guys we should be extending, Tanner Houck should be in that list because the same reason I put Bayo is it's starting pitching is priceless in this league.
I pulled a Christina. I have myself muted. So no, I definitely agree with you overall, Jeff. With Tanner Houck, he wasn't really my biggest surprise. I'm gonna keep letting other people go until see if somebody else picks it up. Pete, what was your biggest surprise overall?
Sorry, I wanted to make sure I'm off mute. My biggest surprise was James Paxton. Reason I picked James Paxton is starting pitching is, I think, how you win championships. So for someone to kind of fall off and, need to turn the clock back to 2019 to really see the last time that he had like a dominant season, then spring training, get a little setback and you're like, oh, here goes Paxton's season. He's hurt in spring training. He hasn't been good for a couple of years. I pretty much, I'll say for myself, was expecting almost nothing out of him. But yeah, he turned the clock back and has been your lowest ERA, one of your best starting pitchers. And in a situation where your management is trying to decide whether to buy or sell, having him as a piece like that is amazing because, just thinking from a GM standpoint, if you don't think he's going to do this all year long, selling him while he's at a 2-point-something 7 ERA is it's a high value there. And again, I didn't expect him to get. If I was to give him a grade at the beginning of the season, I'd be like, oh, he's probably going to be like a D, C player, and he's an A player. So he's my biggest surprise.
Yeah, Pete, I'm going to sit there. That was my guy, too. Coming off of surgery, not knowing anything of what you're going to get, not even knowing if we're even going to see him, until after All-Star break. Like, we had no idea. No timetable was, really, hey, we're going to get him back by him. And now all of a sudden Paxton is, thrown in there to where he and, Bayo are carrying the whole team, the whole Red Sox on their backs. Just a little disappointed that, he could have a better record if he just would have had, 1 or 2 games with a little more run support for the Red Sox. So I'm right with you with Paxton there, Pete. DC, we'll throw it out to you next.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you and Pete. I think Paxton's been probably the biggest surprise for me. I kind of forgot he was on the team going into last offseason. And like you said, we weren't even sure if we're going to see him before All-Star break. And, he's pitched well, 2.72 ERA, something like that, 5-1. His strikeouts are there, has the command. Just very, very pleasantly surprised with him.
Yeah, big maple there. George, what about you?
Yoshida.
Okay.
There was, when they signed him, the general consensus was, they overpaid. Does his game translate well, from the Japanese league, to playing in MLB? Yeah, it does more than that. He's been, he struggled in the beginning. He figured out what was wrong. He opened up his stance, and he's he's the reason why we won today. He hits a home run. He's already, it's midseason. He's got 10 home runs. He's been a very, very good hitter and a pleasant surprise. And you know what? His defense is not as bad as people were saying. So, for me, yeah, that was a pleasant surprise. We got somebody, and for the price we're paying, there's a lot of other players around the league that get his money that aren't putting up anywhere near what he's doing on the field. So,
exactly. So, Anna, what's up about? Let's go with you. Biggest surprise.
So I went a different direction than everybody else did so far, at least. I'm going Nick Pivetta. I think, as a starter, he was god awful, put up terrible numbers at least. And since going to the bullpen, I mean, he's a 2.79 ERA. It's great, I think, considering, 39 strikeouts to 12 walks. Like, I think he's, been good middle relief in the bullpen. And I think how terrible he was as a starter makes his just great performance as a reliever surprising. So that's who I went with.
I like the Pivetta pick just because of, he was a little salty at first when he was announced to go into the bullpen, but now he's took that opportunity and, ran with it. And he's one of the more consistent guys we have, especially when we're doing bullpen games now. So, Christina.
I'm going to agree with Liz. Mine was Duran, just because to me, he's come out and the way he's been playing and everything that he has been doing lately, he's the biggest surprise to me. Like, he, to me, deserves it. And just as well as he's been doing, the way he's been hitting, hustling, stealing bases, getting doubles, a triple. Like, to me, he's just the biggest surprise. So I'm going with Duran.
Surprised or not surprised to see the Pesky Party Girls stick together. So
gotta stick together.
But did I get everybody on this one? I think so. Okay. Now, seeing how the first time I asked this and how it went, now we're going to go split it up a little bit. We're going to go straight hitters. So we're going to hypothetically, Casas, Verdugo. Now you can only extend one hitter. who's it going to be? So, Pete, you missed the first round of this, so we're going to start with you. Those 3 hitters, you can only extend one. The other 2 have to walk.
Sorry, Casas, and who are the other 2?
Casas, Duran, and Verdugo.
Oh, man. Casas is out. It's between Verdugo and Duran. Oh, man, I love Verdugo, but Duran is just so hot right now. Why'd you have to do this to me? This stinks.
This should have been the first time I asked.
This stinks. Yeah, I'm going Verdugo. I just think Verdugo is so good, and Duran could be a flash in the pan. He could resort back, and you don't know if this is his forever. Verdugo has way bigger of a sample size, and it's a great sample size. Verdugo.
Okay, Pete. Love the pick. Liz.
I gotta go with Pete too. I mean, as hard as it is, I just think that Duran, he started off bad. He's good. He could possibly go back again. And I think Verdugo has been a little bit more consistent. And yeah, Verdugo got to stay. I feel more confident with him.
I see Anna over there. She must be checking stats. She must be sitting there pulling up everything. She's pulling up the highlight reel from ESPN. Anna, who are you signing and who are you letting walk?
Well, I looked really extensively at Duran, so I just wanted to make sure that I knew what I was looking at with Verdugo, but I can't help but agree Verdugo. Just he has, more longevity as far as, he has proven statistics over time where, Duran, that might be regretted if, he keeps this up. But I think today, if I'm making that decision, it has to be Verdugo.
Okay, DC, he's been doing his homework. It's now on you, buddy.
I'm going to go Verdugo. The main reason is just his, he's been up in the major leagues for a couple of years now. He's given those stats, not as consistent as I'd like, but this year, like I said, he's changed my opinion. We also got to think Verdugo's a free agent after 2025, I believe. Duran's not a free agent until 2029. So, I mean, it's kind of supply and demand there. Kind of go with the guy that's up for free agency first. So I'm going to go Verdugo.
Okay, Christina.
Verdugo, same. I just agree everything that they all said, the same thing, because he's been in the major league longer, and I just, like you said, Duran could be a flash in the pan, but that's hard. That's a hard one because Duran has got the speed. That's the only thing, that speed. It's nice to have that speed on those bases.
Yeah.
It's nice to know when he gets a hit that normally would be a single for someone else is pretty much a double for him, But if I had to pick between the 2 right now, Verdugo. But I mean, I'm a Verdugo girl anyway, so yeah, Verdugo.
Jeff, you're up next.
Yeah, I'm biting my lip on this one because it goes against what I'm going to say from an award later on. And if DC had mentioned that he's extended up to 29 or his contract is probably a restricted free agent the coming years for Duran, I was going to go with Duran because you cannot teach speed. That's the youth, the age of Duran versus Verdugo. So he's going to have a lot more years in baseball. Well, maybe not a lot more years, a few more years. But with Verdugo coming up as an unrestricted free agent, he's definitely a leader in that clubhouse, Verdugo.
Okay. Last but not least, George.
Let me unmute first. Yeah, I'm with Doogie. This is the year he blossomed. He's become a very good corner outfielder as well. As far as Duran goes, I want this to continue. For me, with him, I want to see it for a longer period of time. If he does flame out, the next speedster they have coming up through the system is Rafaela. So, maybe he's the one. But for right now, they need to at least extend Doogie and let him patrol right field for a while, and that's one thing they won't have to worry about. So, yeah, I'm on the Doogie train.
I'm a little surprised that no one even mentioned Casas at all, especially him coming off of a slow start, and he's kind of picked up in the past couple months. So,
I was going to say Cassis, actually, just because it's hard to find us. And I think he gets a bad rap at first base for his defense. Look who's been throwing to him over this entire year. He's been trying to pick balls left and right this entire year, and I think he gets a huge bad rap for some of the errors that probably are faulty that were not on him. And it's just hard to find a really solid first baseman. The way he receives the ball, and I hate to say this, kind of looks like Rizzo for the Yankees. And I hate to say this also, I think Rizzo's by far the best first baseman in the American League. The way he just receives the ball over there. And Casas is developing into that. I think you'll have first baseman coming up through the system, but yeah, I could have went with Casas, but the numbers just don't speak for it.
Yeah, if you think like maybe 2 years from now, our projected infield could end up being, if all potential is shown, Casas at first, Nick York at second, Marcelo Meyer at shortstop, and Devers at third, and with hopefully Connor Wong still behind the plate. That's not that bad of a potential infield, right there. I know we got Trevor Story locked up for a couple more years after that, but still, like that's not too bad. So, I will also go Jarren Duran. I know it's a big shock. I know Taylor's going to probably kill me for not picking Verdugo, but just like speed, like his speed to get on base, speed to get, steals, and his discipline in and out of slumps recently has really, really caught me really well. I would say extend Jarren Duran. Not only that, I think Jarren Duran extension would probably cost the least out of the three. So it would also give us a little extra wiggle room for other positions that we're going to need. So next up, we're going to go. It's going to segue really well. Rookie of the year for the Red Sox. I think there's only two potentials. Am I right? For Rookie of the Year, besides some of the call-ups that they brought up and sent back down. Bayo's not classified as a rookie, correct?
No, you lost that last year.
So we've got Massa, we've got Casas, and we've got any person that you want to sit there and bring up for a spot start. So, let's start with George. Who you going?
Yoshida. I mean, I know he played ball in Japan, but this is his first season in the bigs, and yeah, no doubt in my mind, he's technically the Rookie of the Year. So
yeah, his numbers are like everybody's talking about Verdugo being snubbed for the All-Star vote. Massa's numbers are better than his overall. Like, dude, really? So DC. We're going to head on over to you having the time of your life over there, it seems.
Oh, man, I'm struggling right now. It's a little hectic. I apologize. I'm going to go with Yoshida. Like George said, obviously, it's his first year in the big leagues. I've seen more out of him than Casas, obviously. 313, 862 OPS. He scores runs. He just hit his 10th home run today. So he could hit 20 home runs if he gets on a little power surge. But he just showed everything that I need to see as far as what we had to offer as far as Rookie of the Year. So yeah, I'm gonna go Yoshida, man. That's my boy.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, can't go wrong with him. Let's go to Pete.
This question's a layup. It's Yoshida. Rookie of the Year. I think he has potential to be the Rookie of the Year outside of the Red Sox. So that's why I consider it a layup, because I'm just talking the whole AL East at this point. Mm-hmm. Honestly, he was my prediction for a Rookie of the Year at the beginning of the year. So I just have to stay consistent with Yoshida. I love his discipline. As far as like a baseball player goes, he walks a lot. He doesn't strike out. He puts the ball in play. He can work on his defense. That's the knock on him, if anything. But yeah, no, he's an excellent pickup and great value too. Like we were talking about, people considering him overpaid. He's underpaid.
Oh, definitely. He is, for the amount of production he's putting up, he's definitely underpaid. So, Anna, who do you got?
I'm falling in line. Yoshida, 95 hits is pretty darn impressive for where we're at. I mean, holy cow, look out. I agree. I think he may be the best rookie that there is in the AL, and he's really impressive. I think this is one of the, Japanese players that actually has like worked out better than what was expected. I mean, there's been very few, obviously a few notables, but there's been far less success than there has been success. And you guys hit it out of the park with him.
Yeah. Every time the Red Sox want to talk about signing someone, I always go back to, please don't be like Daisuke. Please, like that was, oh man, this guy's got like 5-6 pitches. You got 5-6 pitches, but you can't throw any of them.
The gyro.
So, yeah. So, but with Masa, like when I knew, or that he was going to be what we paid for, and even better, was when it was the WBC and he hit that home run, and David Ortiz did like a little segment for the home run, and he flat out said where he hit that ball, he wasn't even supposed to be able to hit it there, let alone hit a home run with it. He goes, this kid's special. And I was just like, man, that if you got David Ortiz saying that, like it was way inside. He wasn't even supposed to be able to make contact, and he just took it took it deep. So, Jeff, who do you got?
Who do you think? It's Masa. I don't think I've seen a pure hitter like this since Wade Boggs, and it shows you how long I've been watching the Red Sox for. Yeah, we've had good hitters on this team, Manny Ramirez, but a guy who's sitting there and is scanning the field at all times and looking for that open spot in the field to hit it. He's the Class A guy of hit it where they ain't. Mm-hmm. And for those who follow me on Twitter, which I usually don't go on there much to say stuff, but I do bash Cora. But this one area I will not bash Cora. He has handled Masa absolutely, I think, the finest way you could handle him, because a guy coming over to a absolutely new, unbelievably new society. Forget it, it's Boston, mm-hmm. which is unique in itself, and trying to adapt himself to our culture and the amount of games we're playing. And I think he's rested him appropriately, and he's needed that rest. And that's shown with him hitting the way he's hitting. So it's Masa.
Yeah. Liz, did you choose already?
No, I haven't. And I have to pick my brother. I have to pick Yoshida, no brainer. I mean, and if we can just get his first home run ball back to him, that would be great. I would really love that to go viral, because he needs that back. But definitely Yoshida deserves this. I mean, yeah, who else?
Well, Liz, you brought that up. DC, I think we may have to sit there and try to work this on. We got Devin Marrero, his first home run ball back. We might sit there and have to get Yoshida on. We're gonna need a translator, and we're gonna have to try to get this ball back.
I don't know, man. That family looked a little stubborn with that ball, and I don't think they're listeners either.
Well, hey, did we ever think that the people that had Devin Marrero's home run ball were listeners either? And look what happened. So
where was it hit? Was it hit in Fenway?
No, it
was Green Monster.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I hope they know that they're like the most hated family. I mean, I hope they do know that. And maybe they'll listen to this and be like, "Oh man, we are, so we got to get this ball back."
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to. I don't think I could have predicted the power that this kid has. If you look at his swing, I mean, he's not the same size, but he's got almost a Ken Griffey swing, does he not? It's just so pure when he hits a home run, I should say.
Yeah, I told DC.
No,
DC was talking about. Were you drafting or were you trying to pick him in a trade, Masa, in your fantasy baseball league?
So I'm in a keeper league. So if you don't keep up the amount of players that you can keep up to, you can go to the supplemental draft, and I took him with my sub pick. to finish off my keepers.
Yeah, I sit there and told DC, I said, with his swing, he's just gonna put holes in the Green Monster, and that swing is really nice. So last but not least, I knew where we were going with this. Christina, you are his biggest supporter. If you do not pick him, it's a travesty.
Of course, Yoshida's my rookie of the year, but I picked him. It's funny because Pete pretty much said everything I said verbatim at the beginning of the season 2 opening day. I said he was my AL rookie of the year. What I loved about him was his discipline. I just love his discipline. And he has like different swings. Like they talked about it the other day. Like he has 3 swings. Like he said, he's always looking in the field and he changes his swing to hit where he needs to hit. And he'll take a walk. And if you notice when he walks, he still runs down that line because he's so like, just Yoshida all the way. You know that he's my favorite. He is my absolute favorite. I picked him at the beginning of the season as my AL rookie of the year. I still think he's my rookie of the year. And I love to watch him play. I love his discipline. I love everything he does. So yeah, Yoshida all the way.
Definitely. I knew that was yours. That's why I saved you for last, Christina.
Yeah, it's my boy.
So next up, we're going to go out there. Most improved. Bam. Most improved award. So George, we're going to start with you.
To me, it's Duran. I mean, it's day and night. There's just no question about it. So, you see what he's doing today. You could only dream that last year. You knew the potential was there. He's living up to the potential. So, Jarren Duran, easy.
Okay. Anna, who you got?
Duran also, for all the reasons that I had him for out of nowhere, just batting average improvement in itself is a reason that he should be up there among all the other things. So no brainer on this one for me.
Okay. Let's go Christina. Christina, you're muted.
I'm trying to do it. Oops.
There we go.
Okay. I don't know where y'all went though. You're not on my screen, but it's Duran also. It's going to be Duran. That's who I'm going with. Yeah, I mean, he is to me the most improved after last year and how bad. And then especially like you said, when he didn't go to spring training and we missed those games to go to the WBC or to not even play, I was like, and then to still come back and do what he's been doing and proving that he belongs. So yeah, he does not want to go back down. Once he started playing like that, I was like, oh, this boy does not want to go back down. So yeah, Duran to me is most improved.
Oh man, DC and I would love for him to go back down just for one series.
Just so you could go see him and interview him.
just so we can sit there and see him. We're circling the Rail Rider series down here in Pennsylvania. We're hoping to see possibly Trevor Story. Hopefully, maybe Sale. That would be really great.
That'd be awesome.
But let's go to Pete.
I'm gonna fall in line. Jarren Duran. Most improved. You look at his past 2 years. I think he was batting like 220, and it's pretty much a similar sample size to how many at bats he has this year. I was just looking it up while we were all talking. 2021, he had 100 at bats, and then 204 in 2022. Now he's got 231 in 2023. So you're looking at pretty similar sample sizes, and he's batting 100 points higher. He's got 10 more stolen bases than he did that. I mean, he's just on pace to blow his numbers right out of the water. He's my most clear improved player.
Jeff, what about you up there?
To quote Tim Wakefield and Will Middlebrooks, this kid needs to play every day. It's Jarren Duran. He did not have the confidence. Obviously, the clubhouse was not nearly the same as it was last year. There were guys holding it back that we'll never know. Maybe we should never know what happened in that clubhouse. But the atmosphere was not good. The atmosphere is a lot better this year, and there's MVPs and most improved players in that clubhouse that we'll talk about here in a second. That this is the reason Jarren Duran is where he needs to be. And there aren't many guys that, Ellie De La Cruz is one of those guys. The price of admission. Jarren Duran is one of those guys. You want to go see. You pay for your ticket. You want to go see Jarren Duran play, run the bases, it's just exciting to watch. No more than Devers is, or Yasa, or Masa.
Okay. DC's got his hands full, so how about we go over to Liz?
Great minds think alike, so we're all grading here. And Jaren Duran, I mean, we were tied 3-3. They bring him in today, and we swept them. And I think he just brings a lot to the table. And again, we always have to go back on how he started last year and how just he has evolved. And I just hope he hears this podcast too, so he knows that he has won almost every award that we have mentioned is just his name. I mean, he has just been surprisingly just best to watch. When I see him, I'm like, we're going to win this freaking game. We're going to just knock it out of the park. So he deserves that.
DC?
I don't know how you guys are going to say Corey Kluber. I'm just kidding. I'm going to go Duran.
DC. Horrible, DC. That was.
Did I miss anybody?
Yeah,
besides
Duran.
myself?
I don't got too much. Obviously, everybody, said enough.
Yeah. One quick note, though, like on the Duran thing, it's just also because, like you said, it's not even when he doesn't start, like today, whatever, but he causes chaos on the bases with his speed. And like Jeff said earlier, you can't teach speed. You either have it or you don't. And Duran, he's great in the lineup because he's been hitting for doubles and he's been, coming through, and his defense has gotten better. But also just when he gets on base, he causes chaos. He made, and that's fun to watch. Like you said, that is so fun to watch. You want to see that. It's every time he gets on base and he gets on first, I'm like, okay, steal. When are you going to steal? When are you going to steal?
I haven't looked at a guy like this since I watched Ricky Henderson.
I'm waiting for him to steal home now that what's his name did it with the Reds. I'm like, okay, Durant. Yeah, Ellie Cruz did it with the Reds. So I'm like, okay, Durant, you're next. Let's go. We got to get through.
This is definitely generational for me.
I need you to do this.
It was Ricky Henderson. I love watching Ricky Henderson on because as soon as he got to first base, you knew he was at second.
Yeah.
As soon as he got to second, he was at third. He was a triple, even if you walked him.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I feel about Jaren Duran.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's a danger to go for the cycle on any night.
Oh, I know. When he got that triple the other night, and he only missed it, I was like, that's the hardest one to get is the triple. So I said, oh, God. And then, I was like, he can actually, but I think it's coming. He's going to end up hitting for that cycle. And like you said, he causes a lot of chaos on the bases. And I'm waiting to see him still home because I know it's going to happen sooner or later. It just has to.
I heard at the beginning of the year, him and Trevor Story had like a friendly competition to see how many singles they could turn into doubles that, or typical singles, ball hitting like the gap, the left field is moseying on over to pick it up. And he's running full speed to second base. So I'm interested. Story's supposed to be coming back soon. So that competition is going to be on pretty soon. I want to see who's turning singles into doubles because that's his game.
Is Verdugo in that bet? Because I feel like Verdugo's done that once or twice too.
I don't know if he threw money down on it. I didn't get the details.
As long as Raffy doesn't try to make a single into a double anymore, we're good.
Raffy.
No. I'm doing that. Stay at first, please.
No.
Yeah. Speaking of Verdugo, that's who I picked for the most improved award because for me it was a mixture of things. Cora called him out, and he stepped up and took responsibility. And, he's hustling. He's playing better defense than he's ever played before. He went from a person people thought was a joke, and hated in the Mookie Betts trade to a leader in that locker room. Sometimes the stuff in the locker room is just as important, or if not more important than on the field. For him stepping up and improving, he helped bring JT in, him and Kike. So I can sit there and I will say Verdugo is my most improved player. Jaren Duran, yes, but the stuff that Verdugo does in the clubhouse, along with on the field, is why I picked him. So. Most improved award is done. Now, it should be a 50-50 split if I'm not going to be mistaken almost. For the Sox's Cy Young Award. So, there could be one dark horse. I think Anna might be the one to pick it. So let's start with her. Who does she think the Sox' Cy Young Award is going to end up being?
So I went completely unconventional, but not unheard of. I researched this to make sure that it wouldn't be completely out of, whatever. But the last time that a non-starter won the Cy Young was in 2003. So I'm going with a non-starter, and I'm going with Kenley Jansen. I think, 18 of 21 saves. Now, if this is excluding today, 35 strikeouts versus 12 walks, 31 games, 29.2 innings. He's only given up 2 home runs. Like, pitching has kind of been challenging as a team from my, from an outsider perspective. I'm sure from an insider's perspective as well. But to me, he screams Cy Young. I think he's, been the most dependable and solid by far. So that's my pick.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Was that Gagne that won in 2003?
Yeah, it was Gagne, and he was insane out of his mind. I mean, and Jansen's not there at this point, but we're halfway through and looking at things that, to me, he takes it.
Yeah, and with that smirk that I seen you have, I was like, yeah, she's picking that dark horse. So let's go over to Liz. Who do you have as your Sox Cy Young Award winner for the first half?
I have to go with Bello. I mean, Henley, I'm not going to lie when I tell you guys that he makes me a little nervous when he is our closing pitcher. It's always a 50-50 chance that he is going to play good or he is just going to butcher it, just like he did a couple games ago. And to me, I just don't feel so confident about him when I see him. I'm like, Lord, we can either win or he can just walk so many people. So I do have to go with Bayo on this one. I think that he is just going to get better. I can't wait till he just does, play the whole game. I mean, just go all full 9 innings. I think he can do it. But yeah, I definitely have to go with Bayo.
Okay. That was one half of who I thought we were going to get a 50-50 split from. George, who do you got?
I'm with Anna. This team, right? This team is successful or not because they have to have a professional closer at the end. And quite frankly, we haven't had it. And we've talked about it a couple of times. We have roles in the bullpen. We have a quality setup man, and we have a quality closer. And for this team to be successful, and he's demonstrated it, except for those 2 games against the Cardinals, which they gamed him with the time, with the pitch clock. Yeah, he's been everything and more. And, has he been perfect? No. But yeah, he's the reason. He's part of the reason where we are. Yeah, I'd like to vote for Bayo too, but right now, he saved games, and you know what? The last couple of years, we really haven't had anybody like that. So for me, it's Kenley.
Okay, George. Let's go over to Pete.
I think Kenley Jansen's a great pitcher, and something that the Red Sox have missed greatly in the past couple of years is back-end bullpen help. But does anyone know why closers don't win the Cy Young? They just don't play as much as starting pitching does. Kenley Jansen has 30 innings and Bayo has 80. He's done twice as much work on the mound than Kenley Jansen has. So you just got to value innings at some point, even though those are important innings at the end of the game. But you can lose it in the first inning like you can lose it in the 9th inning. So I'm going with Bayo. I just think he's a potential future Cy Young AL winner in his career. He definitely has that potential in him. If you're talking potential and just what you're seeing this year, you're seeing great stuff every time that you show up to Fenway and Bayo's pitching. It's going to be a fun day at the ballpark, and you don't really see more than 2 runs ever let up by him, knock on wood. So yeah, he's my Cy Young throughout the first half. And I know you're thinking Paxton. I know. But he is as it could be a flash in the pan, just like Bayo. But I think that I got to tip Bayo over Paxton when it comes to this, unless you're looking at the ERA. But other than that, the eye test, I'm going Bayo.
Christina?
Same. And that's who I was torn between Bayo and Paxton. And then last night I was thinking about this. And the only reason I gave it to Bayo is eye test, like he said, but also his age. Because when everybody's hurt, like, Sale and everything, and even Paxton was gone, for paternity leave, which congratulations and his new bundle of joy. But Bayo has taken a lot on his shoulders being young. And I'm not going to lie, in the beginning, when I first saw Bayo pitch, I liked him. But sometimes his expressions, like his attitude, I was kind of like, dude, you need to listen to what your coaches, you need to, like, I felt like he would get too upset with himself, and then like try to overcompensate. And to me, he's grown just from the beginning of the season to now. And he's taken on a lot, and he's put a lot on his shoulders. And to me, I mean, he's gone 7 innings. And so, like, he's been out there, and we've had, how many times have our starting pitcher has not gone 7 innings? And it's like, oh my God, can we just have a starting pitcher that can go 7 innings? And then Bayo started doing it. And so that's what pulled me from him and Paxton. Paxton has been great for us, but I was like, age-wise, maturity level, for him to come in so young and take all this on his shoulders and do what's expected of him. And like you said, I feel comfortable with him. Even when he has a bad outing, and like the other day, he only had 3 strikeouts, but he still didn't give up that many runs. He still, did what he needed to do to keep us in that game. And as long as he's keeping us in the game and giving our offense a shot, I think you got to go Bayo. You just have to go Bayo.
DC, who you got?
Yeah, I'm going to go Bayo. Pretty stoked at how he's done all year. His last 6 starts, he's reached at least 6 inning pitch in each game, 29-8 walk ratio. Pretty good. I think we're just getting a start of what his potential is. But yeah, I think you have to go Bayo, man. Really like what Pax is doing, but Bayo has been complete the whole year.
And last but not least, we got Jeff.
There have only been 3 players since I've been watching the Red Sox that I could say when I turn on the Red Sox that I have a 100%, almost 100% chance they're going to win. One was Roger Clemens, before all the stuff. Pedro Martinez, now Brian Bayo. And the reason is, for such a young age, this kid is not afraid to pitch to contact. You see a lot of pitches that have come up, even the great pitches that we had in the early 2000s. They would, around the edges and whatnot, nip and here and there. He doesn't care. He pitches to contact because he knows he is so confident in his stuff that more than not, it's going to be a ground ball. And that's why you get in trouble. A lot of these ground balls were hitting holes at the beginning of the season. So I think his ERA would be sub-2 if he had a little bit of what we call in hockey puck luck. He just didn't have it at the beginning of the season. But Brian Bayo, his future is beyond. I don't think anybody can recognize where he's going to go, but I look forward to seeing it in the next coming years.
Yeah, I like Pete sit there and said I was really torn between Paxton and Bayo. I think without a shadow of a doubt, Paxton, if he continues this way, he's going to get comeback player of the year, hands down, because what he's doing, no one ever expected. He has 4 less games than him. He's got, he's got a little bit less strikeouts. His whip's lower, but Bayo is the guy that's going to lead the future of this organization. He's the first guy out coming out of All-Star break, so I'm picking Bayo also in my Sox Cy Young Award for that reason, because it doesn't look like they're going to sit there and try to downplay like they did at the beginning with their season opener. Okay, Sale should have been it, but we're going to give it to Kluber. That'd be like sitting there and be like, okay, Bayo should come out of All-Star break, but we're going to give it to Carter Crawford. I think they know the urgency that this Red Sox team has. They know that we need to win games, and we got to put our best people in those positions to keep going. So I'm also on the Bayo train as you guys are for the Sox Cy Young.
Let me add something to that. Yeah, no, Jeff was talking about was not afraid to put it in contact, put the ball in play. Batted ball events, just to give you into some advanced stats here. He has the most on the team. He has 241 batted ball events, which is like 50 above second place. And the launch angle that the ball comes off at is the lowest on the team by a significant percentage. So he's hitting a ton of balls in play, and they're all grounders. And like Jeff said, if they go into the glove, he's a sub-2 ERA. If they go up the middle, then that's where you let up the hits. So I love what he's doing on the mound.
Yeah. So that just backs up what Jeff was saying there about his, rate. So let's go to Pete a little bit here. You sit there and said about, you mentioned Whitlock earlier, you mentioned Tanner Houck. Let's play one last game of Devil's Advocate. And I know everybody wants to pick. I know everybody wants to pick Bayo. But let's sit there and see how committed you are to the arms. You can only keep one and extend them. The other ones have to leave. We're going to go, let's see, we're going to go Whitlock. We're going to go Houck. And let's sit there and see who do we have coming up to, because I don't want to pick Bayo. Pete, can you give me a third pitcher?
Third pitcher. Let's go Jansen.
Okay. Extend or never come back, or we have to let him go forever. Okay. Whitlock, Houck, Jansen. Okay. So we're going to start
with me
off
first.
No.
No. Okay. All right. You put me on the spot there. I was like, I need a minute to settle in here.
So we're gonna go with. I see Anna over there. She's getting the stats pulled up. Christina and Liz are looking very confident. Okay, maybe not Liz. Let's go with George. We're gonna put George right on the spot first.
Thanks, bud.
And George, have I mentioned how sharp you look in that pesky podcast shirt?
No, but I'll stand up so everybody can see. There you go.
That shirt
very nice,
sharp.
very nice.
There's. Wow. I'm going to pick Houck. And it was a tough one. I love Whitlock, but right now Whitlock has the cloud of injury seems to be following him with nagging stupid stuff. Okay. Shoulder inflammation, this, that, and the third thing. How on the injured list is because of taking one up the middle. He's got good stuff. He's made the transition from reliever to starter. He's got nasty stuff, and I do Houck first.
Okay, Jeff, what about you?
Yeah, I do Houck also first. And for the same reasons George mentioned, there's some inconsistency there. The injury's there too, but I don't think Kenley's been as inconsistent as he has been in years past. But there has been, the more you use him, the more inconsistent I think he's going to be with the walks and everything like that. But until Tanner got hurt, you didn't really see the inconsistency. Maybe at the beginning of the year, I don't think any of the rotation was pitching that great. But his confidence in the stuff, he has the stuff that everybody says that you can't put in the Statcast. Well, maybe you can, I guess. But I'm just wary on Whitlock. I don't know if he's a starter or he's a closer. I would prefer to see him in the bullpen just because I don't know if that body could take more injuries at this point. I'm afraid with that elbow and the show. I just too afraid. And with Kenley, he's up in the age. So it's easy to move on from Kenley, even though there's no closer in the shadows to take over for him.
Okay, Jeff, let me throw a question out there. Say a year and a half from now, Martin's done, where Kenley's at the tail end of his deal. Would you consider or be opposed to a Whitlock Sale 8-9 combination?
Actually, I would love to see. I always thought Whitlock looked great as a closer. I felt like I was always the minority when it came to that, just because a lot of people wouldn't The fan base wanted to see him as a pitcher. I think the organization wanted to see him as a pitcher. And to extend Sale's career, I had never thought about that until you mentioned it. I think Sale, with his ego, would want to be the closer. So Whitlock would more likely be your 8th inning guy. But to extend a guy like Sale's career, that's an awesome, fantastic idea. I'm not sure if he'd ever go for it, but it would definitely extend his career.
Yeah, because consider you have pretty much the same pitcher, just one on the right hand, one right-handed, one left-handed. That would be an awesome left.
Yeah, that would be nasty. That would be absolutely nasty.
So, Pete, what are your thoughts on that? You can answer the question first, and then tell us what your thoughts would be about a Sale Whitlock 1-2 combination.
Yeah, I mean, the person that I would extend, at first I was like, man, Hawk's the guy, but he just got blasted in the face, and like I don't know what that does to it. I pitched up to the high school level, and that's kind of scary, that ball coming back at you that fast. And I mean, you can all remember Matt Clement, right? Like he got that off the face and just never was the same person ever again. Just that was the moment that defined his career, on the downward slope. So I don't know if like you're playing the extend game and you're asking me today, like that's a little risky with him for that reason. So I moved towards, Whitlock or Jansen. Jansen's 35, I think, or maybe even older than that. I think 38, maybe 35. So yeah, he's at the tail end of his career, but we just mentioned how important he is. And some people just picked him as the Cy Young. I think I might extend him for one more year. And hope that the other two guys find their way back, or you find people just like them. But you just keep your closer and you move through another year. I think you got to be in more of a win now scenario. But when you ask me the question about the setup, yeah, Chris Sale would be dominant, and he probably wouldn't get injured as often if you just pitched 1 or 2 innings and you were able to manage his workload. He is very fragile. He gets hit with a pitch and his whole arm breaks. But yeah, I would love to see him in the bullpen. I always thought about that at the end of Pedro's career. Like, man, he'd be dominant in like a closer setup role. Like, he doesn't have to go the full 100 pitches. He can relax, pitch half as much. I think that would be great to see some of those starters that aren't working out. Just see if you can just fire off, 2 or 3 more miles an hour and gas it up in the 8th and 9th innings. Why not?
Christina, are you done praying now? Because it's your choice.
Okay, so if you would have told me Whitlock and Houck and stop there, I would have said extend Houck, get rid of Whitlock. Simple. Then you throw in a closer. Well, it's not a fair question because you've got 2 and you've got a closer, and we need a closer. We finally have a closer. You don't understand how good it feels to have a closer on this team. It's like, so right now, you have to keep Johnson. If you're telling me to do this right now, since today, I can't get rid of my closer. I just can't. I need my closer because he has saved a lot of games, a lot of 1-run games, a lot of just 2-run, like very close games. And I can't imagine going back to the days where we didn't have a closer and I'm yelling at the TV, this is why we need a effing closer. So I'm not going back to those days. I do not want to be there. So if I had to choose between those 3 now, I'm keeping Jensen. I've got to keep my closer. I need my closer, and hope that the rest of my guys can get it to him and he can do his job. But like I said, if you would have just told me Whitlock and Houck, I'd say Whitlock's got to go. I'm keeping Houck. But you threw Jensen in there.
Binky. It's underneath the swing.
I'm keeping my closer. I don't like the feeling of being without one. Last season sucked. It's been so long since we've had a true closer, and I do not want to go back there. Nope. I'm keeping my closer.
You sit there and said it wasn't fair. You're a Red Sox fan. You said you're a Red Sox fan for how long? The Red Sox don't play
things
fair.
Aren't fair. I know they don't play fair, but you finally give me a closer this year, and then one of your first questions is, "Oh, if we had to get rid of one, seriously? You know how long I've been." No, it's not fair. Sorry.
I'll take some responsibility. I did pick Jansen, but that's why I picked him. I wanted to make it hard. I want to make it a hard question.
Yeah, you made it hard, Pete. And I'm like,
That
okay,
was
Whitlock,
cute.
Hauk. If you would have said
That
Whitlock,
was
Hauk, and even Winkowski, I would have been okay. You throw Jansen, and I'm like, really? I'm not giving up my closer after I finally got a closer. Like, if it was right now, and you told me two of them had to go, and one had to stay. Whitlock and Hauk, bye. I'm not leaving. I'm not losing my closer. I finally got one, and he's staying.
Man, it's kind of funny. I think this question here might be harder than any other fair or foul segment question we have ever done, ever. So, Anna, I see the computer's down. I see that the stats are put away. Do you have a final answer?
I do. It has to be Jansen. Nothing else tells me that either one of those can compare. If you're talking long term, that changes it, and then it's sort of a toss up. But a year or two, and you got to keep your closer. My team tried to go without a closer, tried to do a closer by committee. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for you. It hasn't worked for us. You got to keep them. So, what started off to be what seemed like it could have been a hard decision. That's it. That's who it is. So.
Yeah, definitely. Let's go to DC now.
DC left.
Yeah, the thing about
Not
that
an
is
emergency.
DC had to leave with the baby.
Man.
He's on daddy duty. Ooh,
He's
now see, he
long
got
gone.
the shirt.
Let's Liz.
All right. Well, Pete, yeah, you really threw that in there when you threw Jansen, the whole mix. And as much as I didn't pick him between him and Bello, I had to actually go with him just because Tanner, yes, I just feel that he might go through some PTSD kind of deal with having that ball thrown at him. And we don't know how he's going to be right after that. I mean, I'm hoping he's better, but it can be either way. Whitlock, he's just a bullpen guy. There was no way I was going to pick him. And so now it just comes to Jansen. And I think we just got to keep him as much as, like I said, I didn't pick him, but Christina says, you guys said something good. We have not had a closer in a long time. And as much as sometimes I feel like a little scary when he's in the mound because he does do a lot of walks and, a couple games, but I do have to be thankful for that. And I just think finding another closer, oh my God, it's been hard all this time to just imagine trying to find another one. So I got to go with Jansen.
Okay. So me personally, it was a tough one, but seeing how bullpen games are not going as well for us this year, I had to keep Whitlock over this. Hauk, I still say, is a bullpen arm. Jansen, he's a closer. We need him. But do you see what our starting pitching is without all of our arms? Like, we're on Cutter Crawford, we're on Bayo, we're on Paxton. Even with Sale back, so our rotation would be Bayo, Sale, Paxton, Whitlock, and Hauk. Well, you're going to take one of those away. Do we have somebody to replace them? I had the solution of putting Sale as a closer if need be. Less innings, less wear and tear on his arm. That's why I'm kind of taking, I got to have Whitlock. I like Whitlock. I think, he's the guy we have to keep overall. So, Pete, that was a great throw in there with Jansen. You almost had the Pesky Party Girls trying to beat us up, but over the whole thing.
He wants to beat you up for your answer.
So, but
to be honest.
Last but not least, DC left, so I will announce who DC said for his. We're going to go MVP for the first half. So, for his MVP, he sat there for his numbers, for his consistency. He throw some dirt on it, Justin Turner, for his MVP. So I respect it. I like it. So let's go around the horn. George, who did you take for your MVP?
I took Raffy. He's got, right now, he's sitting at 251, 20 home runs, 70 RBIs, and 813 OPS. If his batting average was 30, 40 points higher, it'd be a no-brainer. But I think people forget that he's been the one consistent piece of offense when they've needed it. Okay? He got paid this year, and except for his batting average, he's still putting up great numbers. Okay? And he's actually lifted his average, 15, 20 points in the last, 3 weeks or so? So, yeah, to me, he's the MVP. He's worth the price of admission every time you come in because, he's not afraid to go the other way. He's not afraid to, drive the ball. And as I think whoever it was that said earlier, as long as he doesn't try to stretch a single into a double, all is good. So.
Okay, Jeff?
So, Ritt, a few months ago, we had a show during opening day, right? And I said, there's a leader on this team, and it's Verdugo. I think there's a lot of MVPs. I would easily go with Rafi, but I think, we're paying him to put those numbers up. I don't think we're paying not essentially Verdugo to put the numbers up, at least maybe not yet. And an MVP is just a little bit more than what you're putting up on the field. It's a leader in the clubhouse. And there's a lot of people in this fan base that they're a little salty with Verdugo because of the Mookie Betts trade. I'm like, I don't hate him because of that. I mean, the guy has shown up. He's a dirt. What do you call it? There's a Trot Nixon. What was Trot Nixon's?
Dirt dog.
He's a dirt dog, man. He's not afraid to get dirty. I'm not a big fan of what Cora did to him and throw him under the bus like that because you could have done that to about 24 other guys on this lineup this year. And Verdugo, I think, wears his emotions on his sleeve sometimes, which might get him into trouble. But you can't say the kid does not leave his heart on the field. And that's what an MVP is to me. I served in the military. Maybe I take it a little bit too far, but the kid puts his heart on the field. He puts his heart out for his teammates, and that's all I can ask. So, yeah, Verdugo's been there. He's not been inconsistent. He's had some ups and downs, a little bit pickup, but who hasn't on this team? Mm-hmm. And he's been there when they've been down. He's still been hit. So,
yeah, and when his bat was down, Verdugo's glove has still been there. He's robbed a couple home runs, and being over by, no pun intended, the pesky pole, like that's not easy to be over there. Like the Red Sox outfield altogether isn't easy to play anywhere.
No, right field at Fenway Park has to be one of the toughest places to be a defender in all of baseball. And Verdugo, I mean, he's had some weird plays or weird routes to the ball, but he's had some tremendous catches though.
Yeah. So let's go over to Liz. Who was your MVP?
I'm gonna piggyback on Jeff too. At first, everybody thinks Devers to begin with, but if you really look at it, we have paid him so much money to extend his contract, and he really has not delivered. I'm not gonna say that he's a disappointment, but I expect a little bit more from him. And the way that he still has not learned how to control his swings, and he will just swing at anything. You don't know how many times I scream at. Just walk sometimes. It's okay to walk. He doesn't. He just swings at anything and everything. He's been, just having. Maybe he is having a tough time right now, but he really needs to get it together because everybody will look up to him. Verdugo, I think he's just an underrated player that, like Jeff said, he plays with everything he has and he leaves his heart right there in the field. And with Cora just threw him under the bus, to me, again, he could have just thrown Kike under the bus for all we know because he's the one that needed to have that. But I think Verdugo did really well coming back and showing and just to walk off. And please be effing fair. That was just a great moment for him. So he definitely deserves to be our MVP.
Okay. All great points. Christina, the floor is yours.
I actually had Justin Turner. I was torn between some of them, like you said, and everything that you all said about Verdugo is why he was my unsung hero, because I think he doesn't get where his credit where it's due. But MVP, Justin Turner to me has just been consistent. He's just done what we need to do. When he comes up with 2 outs, there's some players, they come up with 2 outs and I'm like, oh, please, please, please just get a hit, extend this inning. But when Justin Turner comes up, I always feel like he's going to make something happen. And he does for the majority of the time. But it's just, I just like the way he plays, but I also like the way he is with the guys. That was the difference between him and Devers, because I was torn between the two, because yes, Devers has had some slumps, but like you said, he's doing what he's supposed to. I mean, he's doing good. Like everything George said, I agree with. The only thing is, Turner to me is the clubhouse guy. He is the guy that rallies those guys. It gets those guys going. He's not just an MVP on the field, in my opinion. He's an MVP off the field too, with everything that he does with the Red Sox organization, with the guys, with the charities, just everything he does. So I just think Justin Turner is the MVP right now. I think he has kept us in so many games so far this season. A lot of the games that we have won have been because of things that he has done with his bat or getting it started. To me, hitting is contagious, and he comes out and starts getting some hits, and it just falls into place with the other guys. So if I have to pick an MVP halfway through the season, right now I'm picking Justin Chuck Norris Turner. That's what I'm picking. Justin Chuck Norris Turner. Rub some dirt on it.
Throw some dirt on it. There you go.
Yep.
Anna.
I picked Devers. I just think if you look at what he's done offensively, he got paid and that's what he needs to do, but I don't know where you are without those 70 RBIs and, 20 home runs that he's hit. I just think he's played in 87 games. Like that was before today, but I had to look up and see if he'd played in every single game. Like I had to count how many, and it's been almost every game. But I just think without him, things are a lot worse off. So I echo a lot of the things that George said and other points that people brought up. But I think you take those things away and things are a lot different. So he's my pick.
Okay. And last but not least, before we get to myself, Mr. P. Collins.
I mean, what's all this Verdugo hate? Like, who are these people that didn't like Verdugo? Like, who are they? Point them out to me. Let me add them. Verdugo is the man. How do you not love Verdugo?
There's one that will not be named that was there on opening day, but he shall not be named, and we will not name him.
Yeah, we don't need to name him because I'd
we
be
don't need to
angry
name him.
Yeah, no, but Verdugo is the man. Verdugo is the MVP.
And a big Verdugo hater.
No, because when Mookie Betts got traded, Mookie Betts wasn't going to sign with the Red Sox, so you get a return on him, and he's a great return. I mean, Connor Wong, maybe he's something too. Jeter Downs gone. All right, so but I think if you're basically what they traded Mookie Betts for was the Dodgers are basically giving us players so they didn't have to bid in free agency. The guy is gone. Like you got to get something, and Verdugo is now my pick for MVP. I think that was a very good return considering the fact that he's a free agent in 6 months or so. Mm-hmm. Highest WAR on the team, great glove in the outfield, swag is on point, team leader, got speed. He's not slow. His swing is silky smooth. They're running promos. The Alex Verdugo grill night coming up if you go to Fenway. I think Alex Verdugo is just the absolute man and needs to be the MVP. Twice on Sunday, Alex Verdugo.
Oh, man. Well, Christina, the person that will not be named put a tweet out that said Verdugo is the best hitter on the team. Yeah.
Are you serious?
I'm being serious. I sent that to DC. We both got a chuckle.
That's hilarious with the way that person was dogging him on opening day.
So I remember clearly.
Yeah. He was beating down on him something awful.
Yeah, I don't like to get into heated conversations, but it was just extremely uncomfortable. And Verdugo doesn't deserve that.
No,
nobody asked him to be traded to the Red Sox for by far the
most. And it was opening day.
Beloved player in recent Red Sox history.
He still had a lot of games to, a lot of games.
I just wondered if anybody in Red Sox Nation heard what Mookie Betts had said about free agency, is that he was going to test it. He was not coming back to Boston.
He did not want to. So
No.
Goodbye. So goodbye. If you don't want to stay, that's fine.
He should be getting like the Benintendi treatment, or not Johnny Damon treatment at this point, if you ask me. Even though I love Mookie Betts, but still, he's not an angel in this. He's not an angel in this.
You got to pay him. You got to extend people. I'm just so glad they did the same thing with Bogarts. They finally came around and signed Devers, but they did the same thing with Lester. They lowball him and they lose him. And I think if you just had made a proper offer at the proper time, you would have Mookie Betts on this team right now.
So, guys, I said it once or twice during this live award ceremony, and my pick, once again, you put the Verdugo puts the V in MVP. It was really close with Devers, because I look at an MVP as somebody you take off the team and there goes into shambles. It was a 51-49% Verdugo, because I really wanted to choose Devers, because if we would go and lose Devers right now, who do we got to play third base at his caliber? Who do we got?
Turner.
Nobody. If we lose Verdugo, we still got Duran. You can move him over. Kike can move the center field. We got Rafael that could come up in September. So, but man, the highlight reel that Verdugo puts up, king clutch at the end of games, that is why I put Verdugo. And you can't spell MVP without the V, and the V stands for Verdugo. So, that is why I took Verdugo for the MVP. That's why I'm also the VP of the Alex Verdugo fan club, behind my man Taylor as the president, and it's also okayed by Chris Verdugo. So, guys, I love me Verdugo. The only thing is, now Pete, you sit there and brought up a great point with the swag. Okay, everybody watched the Futures game yesterday, or watch highlights or anything. Now, Pete, who has better swag, Marcelo Myers cleats or Alex Verdugo? Because those cleats were on fire.
I gotta say, I didn't see the Futures game. I was a little bit out of it the past couple of days, so I'll have to give me a Google before I comment.
He had actual Fenway dirt inside the Nike check,
in the
custom made. Yeah, in the swoosh.
That is very swaggy.
Fenway dirt, because he wanted for his future home. Oh, it was so cool. So cool.
Yeah, but my man Verdugo with the sleeves. He's got the sleeves with the flowers on.
Did you see Verdugo's custom glove?
Oh, the custom glove. Yeah. Yep. I don't know. I haven't seen the cleats yet, but I'm all in on Verdugo. I'm pushing all my chips in. It's Verdugo all the time.
Verdugo has swag, period, when he hits home run and he just leans back, flips the bat, skips, and just, he's the greatest.
Pete, I'm gonna sit there and tweet those cleats out to you. Anna,
please.
Did you see Marcelo's cleats?
I did not, so I'm gonna have to take a look at them, and they sound awesome, though. Anything that with the dirt in there like that, they sound insane. So I'll take an eye out for them.
Now I gotta sit there and go through and find them. But George,
something else.
George, did you sit there and see him? Look at George. George knows what swag is.
No, I didn't. It doesn't surprise me. He's got a presence about him. When I saw him, a couple of weeks ago in Portland, the way he handles himself, it doesn't surprise me. He did that. So,
of course, George knows what swag is. Look at the shirt he's wearing today.
Hey, we'll do an encore. See,
swag.
So are we, Christina. So are we. We have our little.
There we are. Yeah, and I got my touch of all Duval.
So
looking for the picture of the cleats right now. He is looking.
I just found them. These are absolutely fire. These cleats are so cool.
He's on a mission now. So.
Hey, I said, Pete, you found them?
Oh yeah, I just found them on MLB Life. The futures game, the Nike swoosh.
Did you find them on your phone or on the computer?
My phone.
As I say, you found it on the computer. I could sit there and share the screen right on.
Oh, I'm sorry. I looked it up on my I can look. I can probably find it.
I looked it up on my phone.
I found them. I mean, I'm on a different thing, but my goodness, those are awesome.
Okay, now I'm gonna have to pull them up.
Oh my god, yes, I want one.
Oh my gosh, I know, right? Do you think?
I'm pretty sure we can do that.
I'm just disappointed you only paid one in last night. I'm sure that was pre-planned or something, but.
George, you need to go and look them up. It was the first thing that popped up on Twitter and on Instagram and everywhere. I was like, oh, yes. They're Fenway dirt. What's more beautiful?
They were awesome. They were awesome.
I just found them. There you go.
Yep.
That's pretty impressive. Who was the
I just found them online.
Yep. Let me see here. Share screen. Right there it is.
Yep.
Like those are nice.
I just love the green monster in the background.
Oh,
yes, it is. It's
the dirt right there.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Man, what is that little bar below the Nike? It says Nike, and then the logo. What's that? Is that what's that yellow? Is that gold?
Yeah, it's just gold.
Yeah, that's cool. I like those.
Right here, let's sit there and go. We're going right from. We're gonna go later. Mayor brings Fenway to futures game cleats, dirt and all. Let's sit there and they asked me what I wanted for cleats, and I wanted something a little flashy. Meyer said, "Dude, I can't believe they put Fenway dirt on the swoosh. They killed it. They reached out to me last week, and it was a quick text, and then we ended up getting it done. It's crazy how many cleats they get done in a short period." But that was only his left shoe. Meyer grew up in Chula Vista, California, just outside San Diego, and his right cleat was a nod to his hometown with a bright teal look. The hope was to use sand from the beaches in Southern California within the shoe swoosh, but the turnaround time was too tight. Yeah, that's the other cleat on the other side right there. Man, that's crazy. Those are some nice cleats.
That is sick. Definitely.
So, Christina, I know you're a big cleat person. Kike's mint green cleats or Marcelo Myers cleats?
Oh, Marcelo Myers all the way. But I'm a little mad with Kike right now anyways. Like I told you, he's known as Enrique in my house because when you're in trouble in my house, you get the full name. But no, honestly, Marcelo's cleats were just, I mean, they were awesome. They were awesome.
So, guys, hey, we're going to go around the horn. Tell everybody where they can find you at. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for coming on. I enjoy doing these live shows every now and then. Just because it's just us. Yeah, it's about the Red Sox, but we just didn't have fun. You know what I mean? There's no arguing anymore. We just sit back and we discuss. We all had our own opinions about the awards. And, I'm glad we all agreed on Verdugo being the MVP of the whole thing. George, we're going to start with you. Tell everybody, where they can find you, and kudos on your last couple articles that you've been putting out. If you guys don't get a chance to check them out, please do. You can find them on our link tree. George, the floor is yours.
Sure. On Twitter, it's @Thrilland Systems. I have a Substack called Pundit of the Pesky Poll. I do periodic stuff on that, as well as a regular Sunday column on sports in general. As Ritt said, you can find all my stuff just by going to their link tree, and all my articles are out there. I recently, became the head writer, for the Pesky podcast. I'm just an old fan, been around a long time, and I love baseball. So I'm having a blast doing this.
Yeah, George, I really appreciate you being a part of us. You started your journey in the writing the exact same time that DC started our journey on the podcasting, and well, you only help us out be better than we are. So I want to thank you, and I'm sure DC would say the exact same thing.
Well, I thank you, but you guys as well. We did start out within a day or two of each other of getting started. So, I'm just having a blast. This is so much fun to do, and like today, like you said, the live show. This is great. So, I like working with all you guys. This is, we should. This is one of these things. Baseball's fun. Let's have fun.
Jeff from Off the Monster.
Yeah, I want to echo George. This is a lot of fun. I don't know what everybody does for a living full time. I know I have a very stressful job. I do disaster preparedness for a living. And to do something like this that gets my mind off the stress and anxiety of everything that's going on in the world 24/7 is just fantastic. I've met some great people I never would have met. Stats down in Florida, Mr. Taylor down in Texas. I knew Jeremy, obviously, out here. Christina has been on the pod. I've been on your pod now a couple times, Ritt. If you'd like to come on Off the Monster podcast, we want to step up our game. We're at OT Monster, like in my spelling there, _pod. We try to get at least once a week, but we're trying to get a little bit more going. If you want to be on, please reach out to me. Love to get more people on our podcast and mix things up and try to get a mixture of generations in there, because we have, Stats is 18, 19 years old. Jeremy's in his 30s. Taylor and I are in our 50s. So it's good to have a view of different views of how they view baseball. And Taylor and I definitely are not the StatCast era. We're not those guys. We didn't get raised up on computers and Twitter and Facebook and all these numbers coming at you all the time. So I just want to watch the baseball game, and that's why I enjoy it. So I enjoy this. Maybe I hope we could do another one of these, maybe for the trade deadline. Who knows? But yeah, I love talking to you guys. It's been a blast these last 2 hours.
Jeff, you make a good point. Maybe the night of the trade deadline, we could sit there and throw something together, talk about what's going on, not only with the Red Sox, but maybe across baseball altogether a little bit. So that's a great idea. I'll run it by the board of directors with DC and myself and George, and see if we can get that happening. So Anna, you made it through your first one.
I know it feels like this may not be my last. I don't know, but it's been an absolute pleasure. This has been so fun, and I researched and prepared and stressed insanely, like thinking I was going to let people down. But this has been awesome. I've just really enjoyed it. You guys are great. I host my own, as you mentioned, Twitter baseball space, MLB Barrel Up with Anna and Joseph, with my co-host every Monday at 8 Eastern Standard, live on Twitter. So people can check that out. And I'm already getting a lot of Boston Red Sox fans following me by being connected more with you guys, but people are welcome to follow me. And I think they can see my hashtag or my username on the screen, I hope. But it's just FKA Anna Banana. So thank you so much.
Hey, thank you for letting us be your first podcast to come on. It's been really great to have you on. Like I told you, and you were a little worried in the DMs. I was like, listening to you on your space, it's like, you're going to be fine. You know what I mean? And you were fine. You were great, and I enjoyed having you on. We're going to skip the Pesky Party Girls for now. So, Pete, please tell everybody where they can get a hold of you at, and if you want to shout out anything.
Sure. Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. It's I came up with a very creative Twitter handle. I thought about it for a really long time. It's Pete_Collins_. So I just want to say I did, really spend a lot of time on that. So yeah, go ahead, give me a follow. Look out for me out there. I also, I've been a Red Sox fan since I could walk, since I could watch TV and understand. So, and I played baseball my entire life. I studied the game. I just love baseball to no end. So that's why, I just accepted this invite, and I found this to be great. You guys are a great group. You women, men, everyone, a great group of people just in general. So I had a blast. But what I talk about on my podcast is Boston College, their sports and what they have to do. So we're looking forward to their football season. Check us out, BC Banter Pod. We're gonna have a website coming out soon. We're pretty new. So I just like to invest myself in anything Boston sports. So it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Hey, Pete, thanks for coming on. I reached out and I enjoyed the conversation that we had with you. I know I reached out with you. I can't remember. It might have been the opening day show. I reached out, but you weren't able to do it. I remember I reached out to you once before, and I wanted to come back and double dip with you to try to give you an opportunity on here. And I really appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a blast.
So now here we go. The Pesky Party Girls, 2/3 of them. So, Christina, would you like to go first? And then we're going to follow. Or if you guys want to talk at the same time, you guys are more than welcome to.
I know we're missing one.
I know we're missing the main one.
Yes, the main one.
She's the head, the president of the club.
I know. I'm surprised that she didn't show up.
I know, but no, I'm Christina Fuentes, and that's my Twitter handle, CMFuentes21. Been a Red Sox fan since, same as Pete, since the day I was born, only I'm a lot older than Pete. 48 years, I've been a Red Sox fan. But yes, love to talk baseball, love to watch baseball. It might be a little good that Pete couldn't make the opening day. I might have scared him that day, because when I am watching a game, there's as you can ask George and Jeff and the Ritt there's a lot of F-bombs being thrown and shots being taken when home runs are being hit. But no, it's all fun. I love it. Loved it all my life. It's my favorite sport, and Boston Red Sox, my favorite team. It's like my other bestie who's not here says, you get PTSD following this team. And it's like a cult, because they suck you in and then you leave. But yeah, it's a roller coaster ride, that's for sure. But no, I love it, and I have so much fun with you guys, and I'm so glad I get to be a part of it.
Yeah, it really is it's different, because this is the first time that Christina, you were on with Melissa not being on. And we just want to sit there at the Pesky Podcast, DC, myself, George, we want to sit there and throw our thoughts out to Melissa, and hopefully she's doing really well. And we missed her, because it's no offense, you two are great, but man, all three of you together is a blast. So Melissa, we're thinking about you. Now to the newest member, Liz, you're up.
It's me. Oh my God. Thank you for inviting me here. I am just thrilled, because I live in Georgia. I'm the only one in my family who loves baseball. Everybody loves soccer. I am Hispanic, but I'm not a big fan of soccer, so I don't want to see a ball just thrown around. I love baseball ever since I was in high school. And to me, just to be able to interact with people on Twitter and talk about the Red Sox is everything. I love to live tweet when there's a game on, and I will live tweet all day long, and I will be all bipolar on my tweets, guys, and I have no shame on saying it, because I'm just so passionate about every play, about every little thing. So to me, it's just great. I don't have anybody to go to watch baseball games when I'm back at home, so it's just me and my dog. And every time I yell his heart, he is like, here she goes again, watching her baseball, because it's just me screaming. My kids are like, okay, the Red Sox are playing, we gotta close our doors, because they hate it. So just interacting with everybody and talking about the Red Sox makes me feel the happiest. So thank you so much. You guys can follow all my crazy tweets on Twitter as Red Sox Lover, as it shows there, 01, and on Instagram too. So thank you.
No, thank you. It was quite ironic how as soon as Christina and Melissa, they went to the Red Sox up to Boston for a few games, and then all of a sudden I sit there and hear all over their page you, and I'm like, okay. Then Melissa's like, Ritt, she's a pesky party girl. I'm like, I don't know, because that's really hard to live up to. But you fit in great with them. You fit in great with us, and thanks for having you on.
Yes,
Thanks
you.
Thanks for coming on. Whoa, what did I?
Yeah,
thanks for coming on.
No, thank you so much. That has been great, just talking about Red Sox. So, and the game.
So, guys, it's about time to wrap this thing up. Want to thank you guys all for coming on again. Anybody that wants a Pesky Party Girl shirt that Christina and Liz are wearing, hit me up, DM me, go to our link tree. If you would like a Pesky Podcast shirt, actually, no. If you would like the Pesky Podcast shirt, like George or myself are wearing, hit me up. Man, it's just great. Going into All-Star break, there's not really a much for us Red Sox fans to, be excited about. All we got is Kenley Jansen. We don't got nobody in the home run derby. It's just going to be boring until Friday. So, but guys, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. And check us out next time on the Pesky Podcast.